Man, do you remember the absolute shock of getting that very first real adult paycheck? You rip open that envelope, or let's be real, you check your banking app, expecting this king's ransom. And then, bam, you see that taxes and all these mysterious deductions have just taken a massive bite out of your hard earned gold. It's a total rite of passage. But what if I told you that hiding right there in those confusing workplace documents is actually a magical artifact? One that's literally designed to help you build immense wealth. Well, consider this explainer your ultimate treasure map to navigating adulting. We're going to take our animated hero, yeah, that's you, on a financial journey to demystify the 401k together. Okay, let's dive right into this. Because honestly, the craziest part of this whole journey is that you might literally have free money just sitting on your desk at work right now, and you don't even realize it. So to reclaim that lost loot, our animated character is embarking on a quest to master the ultimate workplace tool. And no, it's not a sword or a shield. It's a financial account that has the power to shave thousands off your tax bill today and compound into a massive retirement nest egg for tomorrow. Here's our roadmap for the journey. First, what exactly is a 401k? Second, the three biggest benefits. Third, the traps, penalties and fees. Fourth, the rulebook and limits. Fifth, the big one, traditional versus Roth. And finally, the exit strategy. All right, let's get moving. Part 1. What is a 401k? The basics. Stage 1 of our hero's journey starts right here, just defining this magical artifact your employer handed you during HR onboarding. Now, I know 401k sounds like some complicated robot from a sci-fi movie, but the name is actually hilariously bureaucratic. It's literally just named after Section 401, subsection K of the IRS tax code. The government wanted to encourage everyday folks like us to save for retirement, so they let companies offer these tax-advantaged accounts. In really simple terms, just think of a 401k as a protective bucket. Your employer gives you this bucket, you decide to siphon a little bit of water, or, well, money, directly for your paycheck into it, and then inside that bucket you buy investments, things like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Let's actually walk our hero through a real-world pre-tax example to see this magic in action. Imagine you land a fantastic job, right? Your salary is $120,000 a year. Normally, the tax dragon breathes fire on that entire $120,000. But if you take $10,000 and put it directly into a traditional 401k, the government pretends you only made $110,000 that year. Your taxable income actually shrinks before the taxes even hit. It's like you're legally hiding your treasure from the taxman for the time being. Part 2. The three biggest benefits. The boons. Now that we actually have the artifact, let's look at the magical advantages it offers our hero. These are the boons that make a 401k way more powerful than just a standard, everyday investment account. So there are three massive benefits here. The first is what we just talked about, tax deferral. You're lowering your current tax bill today. The second is tax-free growth. While your investments are sitting in that protective bucket, earning dividends and compounding over decades, you don't pay a single dime in taxes on that growth year over year. But it is this third benefit, the employer match, that is the absolute crown jewel of this entire quest. And this brilliantly illustrates why. Let's look at the math to see why the employer match is just so incredibly powerful. If your company offers, say, a 50% match, and you put in $10,000, they just hand you $5,000. If you put in $3,000, they hand you $1,500. This is literal 100% free money. Around 90% of companies offer some kind of 401k match, basically as an incentive to keep you happy and working hard. Now, quick warning, beware of a little catch called a vesting schedule. Think of it like a ticking clock. It just means you might have to stay at the company for a few years before their contributed money fully belongs to you. But even with that clock ticking, you never, ever want to leave this free money on the table. Part 3. Drawbacks and hidden fees, the traps. Because hey, every great hero's journey has a dark forest, and ours is no different. Let's talk about the monsters and traps hiding in your 401k. The absolute biggest trap? The early withdrawal monster. See, the money you put into this account is strictly meant for retirement, which the government defines as age 59 and a half. If our hero tries to raid this treasure chest early, the IRS slaps them with a really painful 10% penalty. So think about it. If you pull out $20,000 early, you instantly lose $2,000 to the penalty. Plus, you're going to owe ordinary income taxes on the rest. Ouch. There are a few rare exceptions like serious disability or maybe substantial medical expenses, but as a general rule, you should treat this money as totally untouchable until you've got gray hair. Then we have the invisible goblins, the fees. Your 401k plan has administrative fees that are so often buried in the fine print. A low fee might be around 0.5%. The average is maybe 1% to 2%, but guys, some terrible plans charge up to 5%. Over decades, a 2% or 3% fee can literally devour a massive chunk of your wealth. Plus, your investment choices inside the 401k are usually limited to a pretty short list of mutual funds. If you want more control, definitely check if your employer offers a self-directed option. That unlocks a much wider universe of investments. Part 4. Contribution Rules and Limits, the Rulebook. Let's safely guide our character out of that dark forest to understand exactly how much of this treasure you're legally allowed to hoard. Because, no surprise, the IRS doesn't let you hide all your income in this tax-advantaged bucket. Currently, the standard contribution limit is $23,000 per year. And it's important to note that this number isn't static. The IRS actually adjusts it upwards just about every year to keep pace with inflation. Oh, and remember that employer match we talked about? That does not count toward this $23,000 limit. That $23K is just your own personal cap. But what if our hero is an older adventurer who started their quest a little late? Well, the IRS offers what's called a catch-up contribution. Basically, if you are 50 or older, you can throw an additional $7,500 into the bucket. I also really want to emphasize your total flexibility here. Just because the limit is $23,000 doesn't mean you have to hit it. You can put in $5,000, you can put in $300, or you can drop it to absolutely zero if times get tough. You are always in control of your contribution amount. Part 5. Traditional versus Roth 401k, the fork in the road. All right, we have arrived at the most critical decision our animated character has to make regarding taxes. Which path are you going to choose? So the crucial point here is understanding the timeline of the tax man. A traditional 401k uses pre-tax money. You get the tax break right now, today. But when you're 65 and pulling the money out, you pay ordinary income tax on every single dollar. The Roth 401k, it's the exact mirror image. You put in after-tax money, meaning you get zero tax break today. But when you retire, you pull all that money plus decades of growth out completely 100% tax-free. The basic rule of thumb is this. If you think you'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, traditional is great. But if you want tax-free income later and really don't mind paying the taxes right now, the Roth path is absolutely your best bet. Part 6. Managing your old accounts, the exit strategy. Because eventually, our hero's time at their current job will come to an end. They're gonna level up and move on to a new company, a new adventure. But what happens to the treasure bucket they leave behind? Let's move to the next phase and see how this builds. When you decide to quit, you essentially have 4 choices for your treasure bucket. Option 1, you can just leave it there. The money is yours, the employer can't take it back. 2, you can do a rollover and move it tax-free directly into your new employer's 401k. 3, you can roll it over tax-free into an IRA, an individual retirement account, which honestly usually gives you way more investment choices and lower fees anyway. But I absolutely must urgently warn you against step 4, cashing it out. If you just take the cash, those early withdrawal penalty monsters we talked about earlier, they are going to jump right out and devour a massive chunk of your savings. So please stick to options 1, 2, or 3. Also, keep in mind that the government won't let you keep your treasure locked in that traditional bucket forever. Nope, because they've been waiting patiently for their tax revenue. Once you hit age 72, the IRS enforces what's called Required Minimum Distributions, or RMDs. You are literally legally mandated to start taking a certain amount of money out every single year just so the government can finally collect its taxes. Now, what's really interesting about this is the overall philosophy behind all of it. Despite the confusing IRS rules, the vesting schedules, the annoying administrative fees, the 401k truly embodies the ultimate wealth-building mantra, pay yourself first. Because the money is automatically deducted from your paycheck before you even see it, you just learn to live without it. Add in that employer match, and the 401k becomes the absolute best tool you have to guarantee that your future self is totally taken care of. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our quest. So, what will your future self thank you for doing today? Your action item from this explainer is incredibly simple. As soon as we're done here, go log into your HR portal. Check your employer's match policy immediately. Ensure you are contributing at least enough to capture every single cent of that free money. Seriously, do not leave your treasure sitting on the desk. Equip your financial hero, start building your wealth, and I'll see you on the next adventure.